Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So do y'all remember when I did that thing where I was drawing Pokemon from memory? Y'all, okay, this challenge is about remembering, drawing Pokemon from memory. Doesn't say anything about drawing them well, okay? Yeah, y'all remember that. Well, I'm here today to show you I can actually draw. First off, let me go ahead and get a couple things out of the way. Number one, I know my nails and hands look atrocious. And as you all know, because I'm sure you're affected by it just like me, the coronavirus has stopped a lot of things, including trips to the nail salon. And number two, my voice sounds, if you notice it sounds any different than its normal nasally self, or you hear me cough or hack or clear my throat, it's my allergies. I swear. So I'm not sure what got into me today to even have the energy, the will outside of being in quarantine. I haven't been at work in almost over a week. I am pregnant, so I'm more high risk, and they just didn't want to, I mean, me too, so I'm thankful for them. But I've been home and kind of been in a creative slump, kind of, but not really. But I don't know what made me like in that mood to draw. Like, there's a difference between drawing and like actually wanting to draw. Like, you just feel like all the goodness like flowing through you. Well, that's what was happening today. So, Charizard is the first one that I wanted to redo. I already knew he was going to be the first Pokemon that I wanted to redraw just because he is one of my favorite original evolutions. And I'm using my Rendr Sketchbook. I really love the effect that it has when drawing with Copic Markers, and it's like 1,000% bleed proof. Like, you could freaking probably dump a whole jar of ink on this bad boy and it will not go through the next page. Don't quote me on that. I have never tried it. So I first started out, and also I did use a reference for this Charizard pose, just so y'all know, so y'all don't think that I'm out here just like creating stuff out of thin air. So I did this sketch and then I went over it with a Micron pen to line it, and I used a Kneaded Eraser to lighten it up, because I find when I use the microns over pencil, it kind of like dries out my pens, or I don't know, like it does something weird. So after I line it, I go back and I completely erase all the pencil with my Kneaded Eraser. And you gotta be extra careful and hold the pages down, because if you don't, you really run the risk of like crumpling up your paper. I'm so proud of this line work, you guys. Like, it is just beautiful. And to say that I did it on like the first pass and very minimal erasing and redrawing. So I just want to make sure that this comes out as perfect as it can be. Okay, down there at the bottom, you'll see that I'm doing a couple test swatches with my Copic markers. And it's also good to, do swatches anyways, just to make sure, because you may think that you have a color that you want and then you lay it down and it's actually the wrong color, but then by then it's too late. Coloring him was pretty, I don't know, like this time, normally when I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna lie, I had like major anxiety. Like I was pretty much holding my breath the entire time because I did not want to mess up. Like my confidence in coloring isn't 100% there, but I think anybody that's working on a piece and you're like really excited about it and like expecting the outcome to be amazing is like really nervous about messing up. So I basically held my breath throughout this entire process, but I was really trying to pay attention to shadows when I was coloring him in the darker areas. I also used YR04 to go over for the darker areas. I didn't want to try to get fancy and use like violet or blue to like do the shadows. Just because, like I said, I just didn't want to mess this up. Like I just was like, okay, simple as possible. Let's do the most basic colors here and let's just keep it moving. Outside of me being like extremely nervous about messing it up, this was pretty therapeutic and very refreshing, I'd say. I really did enjoy coloring and drawing this. I felt a sense of like purpose. Like, I don't know if you've ever been like in an art slump and you just cannot draw right. Like no matter what you draw, it looks terrible. And it always takes that one drawing that comes out exactly how you want it to come out to like remind you, hey, you're pretty darn good. This is what this drawing did for me. And compared to the first Charizard that I drew from memory, I am very pleased. So yeah, after I got done coloring him, I went over again. I'm like a real stickler for line art, and especially like darker, bolder lines. Sometimes I try to go through phases where I like want to create lineless artwork, or I'm sorry, lineless line art, or yeah, artwork without line art. Yeah, but it just doesn't feel like me. So I use my Pilot pocket brush pen, and this is actually one that I got off of Amazon. I haven't really been able to find these in stores or anything, and it's all in Japanese, but I absolutely love this for line work. Like it makes the variation so much easier to do, and it really does take the guesswork out of it for me on where to put bolder lines and thinner lines and everything. But I went over it with that just to like give it a pop. Now, one thing I actually noticed, and some people may think this is like kind of like overkill or like redundant, but for whatever reason, I've been taking my finished illustrations into Procreate and like redoing them. And I know I probably could have just took the line work in there and it would have been just fine, but for some reason, doing the full illustration, then taking it in and doing it digitally, I don't know, it kind of, I guess it satisfies my need for like doing traditional art. At the same time, I can improve it with digital art, because come on, let's be honest, there are things that you can do digitally that makes your life so much easier, and if you mess up, all you have to do is hit a simple arrow and it erases it. Now, I have become fonder of digital art, and I've caught myself doing it more, but doing it traditionally first does definitely feed that desire, because I love the feel of pen on paper, pencil on paper, like all of it. So yeah, I mean, that's just what's been working for me, and I think, you know, it's the best of both worlds. Well, you guys, we are coming to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching me show y'all I know how to draw, I can draw, and listen to me go on about stuff. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content and stay up to date, of course, hit that subscribe button. You guys can find me on Instagram at Monet Madness, and also visit my website www.monetmadness.com. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.